This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world, according to former WWE superstar, ECW original, and co-star of the London Film Critics' Best Picture winner, The Wrestler, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, told you I was going to do it, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie! What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, my friend?
So
Here for another week. I'm back from the frozen tundra of Wisconsin. Sorry to the folks, we couldn't do a show last week due to technical difficulties on my part. I traveled to Wisconsin thinking I could do the show from there. But the Wi-Fi in the hotel had other plans, and affected a bunch of stuff I was supposed to do. But we gave you a little bit of a best of last week. But here we are with fresh new material. Happy to be here. Had a great trip. I can't wait to recap that. And first off, special shout out to the folks over at WMMR.
yes, sir.
Here in Philadelphia, I was able to go in and do Camp Out for Hunger, their annual event every November, and they had me on to do a special 12-pack 12-pack commercial-free music block curated by myself, and did that last night, and still kind of juiced from that. So, but how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Life is good. Good to see you again. I definitely want to jump into the MMR stuff because I know it was a lot of fun getting a chance to listen to you on Philadelphia's biggest radio station. So always a good time. But I want to shout out the Pod Squad here before we get started. Everybody's here. Thank you for everybody for tuning in to our best of last week. It was What's Your Waffle House Order, which was a very fun show that we did during WrestleMania 41 weekend. So Mass Sanity is here. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Schlichter is here. Good evening, sir, and a pleasant Baba Booey to you. Jesse Brown is here, and Little Jimmy is here tonight joining us, sir. A run-in from Little Jimmy Sorensen, hashtag Sorensen level.
Yeah.
That's right, man. Good evening, sir. We and a pleasant Baba Booey to you. So we are happy to see everybody here. Yeah, life is good, man. I can't complain. We're just we're hanging tough here. We're almost, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about because I feel like we were just recently talking about this, about episode 200. And now we are officially 5 episodes away from episode 300, which is just unbelievable. An unbelievable statistic for us, an unbelievable moment for us. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think we've been doing this long. How are you feeling heading into episode 300?
It's crazy. The couple, years ago, people was like, "Oh, you should do a podcast." And I'm like, and then I, did a poll on Twitter saying, "Should I do a podcast?" And it was overwhelmingly people said yes. I was like, all right. So here we are, almost 5 years later, and the podcast is still going strong, and we're still doing it. It's crazy to think, that this happened. This, has been going for this long, and there's still so much great support for what we do, and it's still fun. It's still fun to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, getting into it, I always heard, people talk about doing podcasts, and some maybe last a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe a year. It's cool, man. It's definitely 5 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, my timeline's a little goofy, but the pandemic has shut down like through all everybody's timetables. But yeah, 5 years, 300 episodes. Couldn't be happier.
It's crazy to think about that you and I have been doing the show together now almost officially for 3 years. Next year will be our 4th full year together. And I remember that very first episode that we did when I was in Pittsburgh. I think it was, I want to say, and excuse me, I think Mass Entities, who are our resident historian here of Mind of the Meanie, I want to say it was like August of 2021 when we did our very first show together. And I just remember being like, oh my God, this is the coolest fucking thing ever, man. And now here we are 4 years later, and it's still the coolest fucking thing ever. So I want to thank you. And we want to thank you for listening to the show, being a part of it, listening every week, and to the Pod Squad. We literally could not do this show without you. And we want to say thank you for sticking around and being a part of this this long game with us here. It's been very exciting. Got a bunch of new people in here as well. The Green 413, which is aka Matt from Dover, is here. Have a good evening to you, sir. And Lucha is here. Lucha Luchosa, long time Pod Squad member. But also, I could absolutely go for a Baby Ruth right now. But let's get into and talk about your trip to the wild frozen tundra. That was where it was, Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, went out to Wisconsin. Me and Mrs. Me like to do Philadelphia Eagles away games, and they had this past week they were the Green Bay Packers, and Lambeau Field has always been a place I've wanted to go and visit. Whether somehow go there and do the tour of the stadium, or if the Eagles ever played there, go watch the Eagles play there. And once the schedule came out, when the NFL's great at like keeping schedules of announcements, and I saw Eagles were being at Green Bay, and I have a buddy, Julian McCann, got to do this. And I said, me and Mrs. Me booked our flights in May, in full anticipation of doing this tour. And then, time goes by, and before you know it, the trip's coming. And, we're a little worried because, with the government shutdown and
Right.
TSA having problems, we were reading flights getting canceled, people, stuck in airports and all that stuff. So we're like, ooh, it's going to be rough. I was like, maybe should we have driven? Because I drove, but we did. When we got there, we did a lot of driving and saw a lot of sightseeing. But now that our flights were good, we get to Wisconsin, check into the hotel, and whatchamacallit, dude, what a great trip. When people go on vacation, they usually go to warm weather destinations. And me and Mrs. Me are like, no, let's go to Wisconsin in November. Why not?
Sure.
But no, it's we got to see a lot of cool things, do cool things. We like to do things. Play. The football game is like the end of the trip. We go and do a bunch of stuff before we got out there. We went out to Madison, Wisconsin on that Saturday, and got a private tour of the state capitol, which was awesome. And then was it Monday, day of the game? We had to go back to Madison, Wisconsin, because Saturday we wanted to go visit and pay respect at the gravesite of Chris Farley.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept in mausoleum, and it was closed. So we're like, oh, let's go back Monday. So we will go back Monday, visit the grave of the legendary Chris Farley, a person who, when I was in high school, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you remind me of that guy from Saturday Night Live, Chris Farley." And I had to watch Saturday Night Live. I was like, could be. I was a little bit over the top, and but in a lot of ways, Bard, a lot of his stuff, as Blue Meanie, over the top character. But then we also went and visited his childhood home, which is not too far from here, and just to see where it all began for him, and just being a history buff, comedian, fan of comedy, and just to pay respects, was awesome to do. And then after that, we drove straight to Green Bay, about 2-hour trip, and I was going into it, people are like, oh, it's going to be freezing cold, it's going to be snowing, it's going to be 20 degrees, and yeah, it was cold, but thankfully it didn't snow, and thankfully it wasn't 20 degrees. It was like 34, but me and Mrs. Meanie layered up pretty well. You're wearing a couple pair of, pants, and some sweatpants under our pants, a couple thermal shirts out under that. And I had my cousin Eddie hat on from Christmas Christmas vacation. Sorry, shitter's full. And it was such an awesome experience. And it was cool to watch a football game in Lambeau Field, man.
Yeah, I believe it.
But where was I going with that? Yeah, it was awesome and also me and Mrs. Meanie, when it comes to seeing the Eagles on the road, we're undefeated, so that was a good thing. I was nervous going into this game because Green Bay is a good team, and we came out there with a win. Now I have to say it's weird, man. I was in Lambeau Field watching the game, watching the field with my own two eyes, not having to worry about listening to play-by-play, or I stayed off social media while I was there, other than posting a photo while I was there.
Right.
Watch the game. It's weird to watch a game and have your own thoughts, and then you go online and you see other people's versions of the thing you just watched in person, and it's so bizarre. The game felt a little rough, maybe because the temperature had to do a little bit with it. And then other people were like, well, I say, oh, it was an ugly win. They pulled out, I'd rather take a ugly win than a pretty loss. And other people are like, ugly win, that was a defensive battle. And then other people are like, oh, this. It's like, man, it's crazy, like how people, have different versions of the thing you just watched. So, but I was happy that they pulled out the win. Flew home the next day, and thankfully no major hiccups, and back to life, back to reality. And it was an amazing time. If you're a football fan, you ever get a chance to go out to Green Bay and watch a football game there, it is quite an experience. To go out there, go tailgating for a little bit, watch the game. And there's not a bad seat in that stadium. When I saw the tickets, I was like, oh man, we're up there sitting with Jesus. I was like, we'll be sitting with my grandparents, and they died 20 years ago. Just we started going to be up there. But we got to our seats, and like most of the stadium is like bleacher seating, and we had seats, which was cool. But not a bad seat in the whole place, and
Yeah.
like the fans there are just like obnoxiously polite. It's just, even like when the Eagles did something on offense, you hear somebody in the crowd go, "Oh, that was a good play. That was a good play, huh?"
That's that
around like,
Midwest. That's that Midwest friendliness that everybody keeps talking about out there that we did not see in Pittsburgh, but everywhere else out there. You went into Cleveland or in Ohio and you got that kind of stuff, but not in fucking Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh's like Philly light.
it was definitely it was definitely, yeah, like that Midwest polite. It was so cool. I mean, you weren't in Minnesota. I heard Minnesota's pretty good for being uh overly polite, but this was pretty good. It was pretty good. So yeah, it was a great trip. If you ever get a chance to go to a game in Lambeau, uh, definitely take it, even if your team's not playing. Even if you go and your team's not playing, then maybe it might be a more enjoyable experience because you have the stress of, your team, whether your team wins or not. But thankfully, my team won coming out of there, and it was pretty cool.
Should we yo-cuz that one?
Yo-cuz.
I think we should.
Yo, guys.
Yo-cuz. Wait, where's the other one? I'm still learning this board. I got to get better with these fucking sounds.
It's fucking game day. Go Birds!
That's right, goddammit. That's right. We got some
Fantastic.
good question here from the Pod Squad. Jesse Brown says, "Did you get offered in some cheese and brats?"
Dude, the thing out there that's a big thing is like cheese curds, which are like sexier mozzarella sticks. Cheese curds are pretty good. I got invited to a tailgate that had a lot. Dude, I went to that stadium full. It had brats, it had burgers, and some beers, and I didn't want to get too tanked for the game, because I didn't want to have to, make several trips to the bathroom, but dude, when you got to take a leak and you're layered up like that, you basically got to do the rest stop drop, where pants and underwear and everything down to your ankles, just so you don't pee on anything.
That's right.
Pee on any of your underclothing. It's just good
Rest,
lord.
stop, drop. You're fucking hovering.
Oh yeah, definitely
bro.
had some brats out there.
Hovering.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. You might as well just find a toilet and sit down just to pee. Just so there's no accidents.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of good food out there, man. Went to a couple local spots and stayed in Milwaukee proper, and a lot of good eating spots out there. Did some shopping. Mrs. Meanie likes to go to antique shops or juggling stores, and she bought some new juggling stuff. But it was an amazing experience. Went and saw the Fonzie statue in downtown Milwaukee, which is pretty cool. The locals call it the Bronze Fonz. But also there's a statue out there for the legendary wrestler, the Crusher. He was dubbed the man who made Milwaukee famous. Is a statue of him with a giant keg of beer on his shoulder. Got to see that. So I did a lot of cool stuff I've wanted to do. Besides, just going out there and seeing friends, and seeing the Eagles play, got to see some cool sights.
That's amazing, man. I love that you got a chance to get out there and see it. I know I've been trying to get out there because I really do want to go visit the Chris Farley, house, and I want to go see his, pay my respects to him. I've been trying to find Belushi for a long time too, but I know that he was buried. I think he's buried in Martha's Vineyard, if I remember correctly. But then they moved him somewhere else. Someone will have to fact check me here, but I know that he was buried, I think, originally at Martha's Vineyard, but so many people came to go find him and were like being disrespectful to his burial site that they like moved it. So I don't know exactly what happened. But I would like to go. I'd like to go out there. I mean, I'm trying to think of the farthest out Midwest, I guess I've been, is probably Indianapolis. That would be considered the Midwest, right?
I would say so.
I would say it's probably the Midwest. Yeah. So, so as far as I've been, but I haven't been to Wisconsin. I haven't been to Michigan yet, but I'm hoping that actually, I'm sorry. No, I have been to Michigan. I was Detroit in August, which was definitely, still like 32 degrees in Detroit, because every time you go to Detroit, it's just fucking cold. But Mass Sanity says, I've been to Minnesota. Even when I mocked their accents, they were nice about it. That's a wonderful news. It's wonderful news, sir.
I have family from Minnesota, so I'm very familiar.
Shackleford's here. I want to make sure we shout him out. Shackleford, what's up, dude? Hey, everybody. A pleasant Baba Booey to you. Jesse Brown, we're actually here. We're talking, so I got to go back to this one thing we were talking about in the earlier show. He says, Mass Entity says, the Google says Adam's first appearance as a recurring host seems to be around episode 110. It's a sports-heavy show today, folks, which was released on May 2nd, 2022, which is incorrect. My very first show was August of 2021. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I'll have to pull it up and show you. But I know it was in August. It was my very first run-in episode, and it was a good time. But Jesse Brown says, shamelessly quote, you guys soundboard frequently. I often say this is the drizzling shits in my imitation of Adam Sun saying it. Yes, Big Dan, who ends our show every week. I finally found the MP3 of Danny saying it, which will I have back on the board next week. I just can't do it now because it would take me offline. So I'm not going to do it, but I'll put it up for you next week and I'll have it, make sure we play it for you guys. Because I know Danny is always very excited to hear that stuff. So, but yeah, no, dude, we're very, like I said, just, it looked like you had a great time. Looked like it was a blast. But again, I wanted to bring it back to what we kind of started the show with here.
I kind of hop in here. Let me see.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, I got some raw files on here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I think your first episode you hopped in as a co-host was episode 73.
Oh, let me pull. I'm going to look it up right now online. Let me see here.
It says because I put in parentheses Adam Barnard.
Yeah.
And
going
then
to the Google here.
And then yeah.
Let's see.
73. And then I think 93 you became permanent.
Yeah, I think it was before
Just
episode 100.
Yeah.
Let me go back. I'm actually going to go into the podcast feed right now because I really want to know the answer to this question. Let's pull it up here. Oh, also, here you go, Jesse. This is for you.
This is a drizzling shits.
There you go, sir.
There we go.
Big Bill Pigpen, Chicken Patty Jones. Let's see. We're going all the way back here in the archives. Holy shit, we're going back far, bro. Yeah, the episode 93 was my very live show, the very first show. Here it is, episode 73, August 16th, 2021. Meanie's Hip Hop Knowledge was the name of the episode. And that was my very first episode with you.
That's funny.
We did a couple more after that. Episode 76, Carlin quotes apply to everything, which I think was one of our most listened to shows of all time. Still, even it still gets tagged. Episode 77 was the following week when you got to eat your shoes, dude. That was the infamous CM Punk tweet when he tweeted me and deleted me after that when I talked about eating my shoes when he showed up to AEW. And, man, that was a good time. It was lots of good time. Mass Entity. Oh, dude, Mass Entity needs to be here every week. We got to start paying him for this fucking legwork he does here on the Google. He says about John Belushi, after his original gravesite became a destination for troublemakers. That's right. His body was moved to an unmarked, undisclosed location within the same cemetery. That's what it was. They moved him. I knew it was. Abel's Hill in Chilmark, Massachusetts on Martha's Vineyard. Thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate you clarifying that. But before we get into, we get a lot of questions this week for Ask Meanie. Some we've had from previous week, but I want to talk to you more about MMR, man. I know you were on with Brent Porsche. And I want you to talk about that experience and how that was. And I heard we got some pretty good friend of the show, Brent Porsche. I heard you got some pretty good feedback about one of the episodes we did recently.
Yeah. 93.3 WMMR here in Philadelphia, legendary rock and roll station. Made a lot of bands, made a lot of artists. Most recently, I watched the Billy Joel documentary, 2-parter that's on the HBO, and they credit MMR for helping him, get some headway in his career when he did a live concert for MMR in the 70s, and he played the song Captain Jack, which ended up getting played heavily on WMMR, and radio execs started looking at him, because of that performance. Artists like Bon Jovi, the Hooters, a whole bunch of people, were made famous with WMMR. So MMR is legendary, not only in Philadelphia, just the radio in general. And we pay tribute to Pierre Robert, who recently passed away, and totally hit home, with me and you having grown up listening to him. And the episode we did for Pierre, I'm friends with Brent and Sarah over there at MMR, and they saw that we had done a tribute show, and they listened to the tribute show, and thanked both of us, you and I, for everything we said about Pierre. And Camp Out for Hunger is like the first one without Pierre this year. And there was a lot of touching tributes to Pierre all around the campus. I'll say, Camp Out for Hunger, they take over a parking lot down by what the former Wells Fargo Center, now it's the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where they got a little community there. They got the broadcast booth, and they got places where you can donate food. They have places where you can set up and buy food there and have it donated. A whole bunch of great stuff, bunch of food trucks, a little bit of everything. And all the tributes to Pierre in the area were awesome, were special. But yeah, I got invited to be a part. They Monday through Thursday they have guest curators of their the hour commercial free from like 4:30 to 5:30, and I was asked to curate a 12 song set of music to play on there. And it was, to say it was an honor is an understatement, because that those airwaves are precious. Like I always say, in wrestling, TV time, that TV time is valuable.
Right.
Same with rock and roll. And to do an hour of commercial free music and just talk. Me and Brent had a great conversation over the course of that hour. We're supposed to go an hour, we went an hour and a half. But just because of the the stories we were telling or talking about, and it was awesome. The crowd who showed up was awesome. They always draw a lively crowd down there. WMMR is a community as a whole. It's just a community of people who are dedicated to that station and the rock and roll community here in Philadelphia. So I got to sit in with Brent, and it was awesome to be able to rock out. And it's like when you pick 12 songs, you never think how hard it's going to be to pick 12 songs.
Yeah.
And usually I could probably rattle off 12 songs. I love so many songs that if I leave one song out and we finish the set, I go, I forgot to play such and such, right? So we do the 12 songs, stories, and then after we finish, I leave, and both me and Brent both later on realized we didn't play one single Van Halen song, and I'm like, oh my god,
man,
I'm like Mr. Van Halen over here. I was like, should I just turn in my membership card to my Van Halen fandom? What kind of bullshit is that? You know what? I'm talking here. I was on the radio for an hour trying not to swear, so now I'm on the podcast trying not to swear. So I was like, what kind of bullshit is that?
That's so funny.
But yeah, got a lot of great feedback on it. A lot of people who I haven't heard from in years, private messaged me and texted me saying, caught you on MMR. You never realize how far the reach is. Well, yeah. I mean, I know the reach, but when I'm on there, people who just reached out to, say they heard me on there. And yeah, I got to talk about the episode we did, got to plug the podcast. And it was such a great hour and a half that, as a kid, you daydream about doing things. When I was a kid, I used to, there was a part of my life where I wanted to be a radio DJ. I lived in Atlantic City, and we had a local station right off outside of Atlantic City in Northfield called WMGM. I can't think of the call. No, I can't think of the numbers right now. 104 MGM it was. And I used to always listen in. They had a contest, be a DJ for a day. And I sent in my own little set list of, my own little promo tape. And I got chosen to be a DJ for a day, and got to go on the station and do it with a DJ named Bruce the Bear. He's still a DJ to this day, and we're still friends on social media. It's kind of cool how like we reconnected through social media, but did that as a kid, dreamed about being a DJ as a kid, got to, be a DJ for a day, but got to go on go on a legendary station like 93.3 WMMR
Mm-hmm.
and do a 12 song set, commercial free. Was awesome. Brent's also cool enough. He has a drop in his soundboard of, hey, this is the Blue Meanie. You're listening to 93.3 WMMR. Hey, Brent, why you play some Van Halen for me? And, every time that one drops, I get a text too. Oh, I heard you on WMMR. So it's just,
That's
man,
awesome.
it's just like a childhood dream come true. And,
Yeah.
It sounds like I was just on a local radio station, but it's more than a local radio station. It's a national institution because
Yeah.
they clean house at the radio awards every year, the Marconis. And, like I said, WMMR is it's a total community. They rate with all the charities they do, and the Camp Out for Hunger raises so much money for Phil Abundance, which is the charity in here in Philadelphia that feeds people in need, and it's one of my favorite charities as well. So this opportunity hit on a ton of different levels.
Absolutely. I know. I hope I got a chance to listen to most of it. I had some issues at my shoot job that afternoon, which I was upset I didn't get to catch the rest of the show. But if anybody out there has a recording of it, I would love to maybe put it up as a special, maybe as a special treat to our Pod Squad members for sticking around so long. So we can find that. I would love to get the MP3 on that. 103.7 FM WMGM is the station from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Bruce the Bear is the name here. On that. But yes, I got to tell you, I really always saw myself as a radio DJ. I still get a lot, even in my personal life. I get that. Oh, you sound like a radio DJ, and so then I have to turn it on and give you a little bit more. If I wasn't worried about the YouTube strike, I'd hit the post for you. But no, it's and then I got to do my show. I know longtime listeners know that I had a show on WCUR 91.7 when I was college, 2009. So about 2012, and we were the most listened to show for many months. Actually, probably almost the entire time we were there, and WCUR's history. It was a lot of fun, man. It was a great time. It was 2 hours every Thursday night from 8 to 10. That was our spot. And I'll tell you, man, it's funny. It's even now sometimes when I'm speaking into the microphone, I worry about cussing, because it was you have to be like, like the rules with like college radio are a little bit different than they are with like terrestrial radio. Like after 10 o'clock, you could cuss, but I was like, I don't want to be on the fucking air at 10 o'clock at night, do it the 10 to 12. Like, I want to have a good time. I want to be out there when people are going to the bars, and I want to be playing all kinds of good music. Right. We play fucking everything. Right.
Yeah.
One of the songs though, and I made a best of Foundation Radio. It's an MP3 somewhere. Maybe I'll put that in for a Pod Squads as well as an exclusive. But one of our songs every week for almost the entire time we were on the air was Panama by Van Halen. And It was like, it was usually, we would set it between either like, because we would have it structured, right? We would do our intro, which was Rio Bravo by CKY, and we'd go into it and we'd talk a little bit. And then maybe like 5 or 10 minutes into the show, we would start with something. And it was almost always either Panama, or that was like, it was the start of the show, or it would be like at the end of the show to really kick up the end of the, the octane, if you will, for the end of the evening. But man, it was such a good time. I miss the days of being on the radio station and enjoying it. But you did a great job. You sounded great. Like Brent Porsche was fantastic. Shout to them. Shout to everybody at MMR. It's fucking great. Vanessa Bello is here. She's joined us this evening. Hello, Vanessa.
Hello, Vanessa.
Vanessa says, I could see Meanie hosting a yacht rock program at some point.
Absolutely.
Listen, when Meanie and I, when I retire, and I joined Meanie in the wonderful world of Philadelphia, Meanie and I are going to host a yacht rock show on a yacht.
I can't forget not to love anymore.
Sorry, you get the spirit of Michael McDonald in you, and it just keeps going.
Came right through.
That's right. Meanie wearing a captain's hat. I can dig it. Yes, sir.
Blue one.
We would both be. That's right, a blue captain's hat. Mass Entity says, pump up the volume, and talk radio inspired me to want to work in radio. I just never did that. Man, I'm telling you, it's a tough industry, bro.
2 great movies right there.
Yeah.
Pump Up the Volume is basically, Christian Slater plays a pirate radio host. When you think about it, he was the original podcaster.
Yeah, he really was, dude. He really was, man.
Remember doing this thing was illegal? We're doing pirate radio, but since it's on the internet, it's legal,
Yeah. Listen, man, those are great flicks. Like I remember
Radio is a great movie as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I got done, because I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. That's actually so the music, this stuff you hear at the end of our show. Nope. This music is made by a guy named in Richmond, and his real name is Rich Obetz, and we went to broadcasting school together about 20 years ago this year, right? Nice. And when I was leaving, it was 2005. And when I was leaving, that was the year that Howard Stern announced that he was leaving terrestrial radio. And so you put your demo tape together, you send it to everybody, and everybody's like, oh, we're not hiring any talking heads anymore. We're doing everything automated now because everybody wants to get away from the Stern format. And in order to get into satellite radio, you needed a ton of experience on terrestrial radio. So you were like kind of fucked either way.
Yeah.
And that's when I think podcasting started. And we had something stupid somewhere. And, we trying to get it started, but it was very dumb and it was very rudimentary and fuzzy. And it never got off the ground. But it's amazing to think about how far this has all come since that point, Lucha says, Goober and Blue Meanie pirate radio. Fuck yeah, dude. Tell me where to sign up. Meanie and I, between the two of us, we can fucking get in there.
They're triangulating the call.
It's coming from inside the house. Shout out to Rio Bravo, the elite CKY record right there. Everybody wants to talk about 96 Quite Bitter Beings, but let me tell you something, man. You haven't lived till you see fucking Chad Ginsburg solo on Rio Bravo. But, Meanie, I want to say before the end of the program here, I want to give you a little update. If you hit the 6ABC button for me there. I got some news for everybody here that I've shared. I know Blue is aware of this as well, but I'm going to let you all know on the Pod Squad because you're listening to this early. And when everybody hears about this on Monday, when they listen to it, they're going to know as well. But starting Monday, so when you're listening Monday, I am officially the lead interviewer, host, and lead feature writers at the Sportster. A brand new full-time gig. Very excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Very excited to get started. And I got something cool landing today as well while you're listening to this.
Hold on.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Actually, if you wouldn't do me a favor, could you hit the Vince McMahon Blue Meanie for me? I love that clip.
This needs a little bit of tightening up, but
The Blue Meanie.
There we go.
I'm going to give you one of these just because.
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
But yes, I'm very excited. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of movement, and lots of stuff going on. But I'm very excited to be a part of the team, joining, growing with Valnet. Another cool part of that's coming up, and I'm not going to release it because he will release it in due time. But my very first full-time interview for the Sportster is going to be AEW's Wheeler Yuta, fresh off of his Blood and Guts match, which was fucking crazy. If you haven't had a chance to go and take a look at it, take a look. But buyer beware. That shit was insane. So, and a pleasant go birds to Mr. Yuta as well. Got to ask him about, got a quick question in there at the end of the show about your visit to the tailgate and what happened when someone said something that arguably was the worst thing you could ever say to somebody, really, if you're an Eagles fan. So you'll have to take a listen to that on Monday. Drops at noon Eastern. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the kind words here. Mass Entity says, I was at CSB a few years before you. The industry was going through mergers and satellite wasn't a thing yet. There were still very few jobs. Yeah, dude, it was a fucking nightmare, man. I'll tell you. But it says, Jesse says, I was listening to another wrestling podcast, the dude with the initials, and he was talking about how much he had to grind just to seem to hit his stride. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into what we do. And it's not just us here hitting recording and hitting the boards. And, it's with everything, right? It's recording, it's editing, it's marketing. It's a lot. And it's just, you got to commit to it. But we've been having fun.
That's why I appreciate our Pod Squad so much. You guys keep the lights on here, and just to be able to do a show for an audience live like we are right now and interact. The interaction is what makes this show special, you know. And, you know, not too many people get to have what we have, and we're very fortunate that, you know, we have the Pod Squad rocking along with us, you know.
Absolutely. Meanie, I also have a little bit of breaking news for you here. This is a special one. If you wouldn't mind hitting the sound just one more time. YouTube TV and Disney have reached an agreement, and all of our Disney channels are coming back.
Thank the Lord, Jesus, Bubba. And see, me, a little inside baseball. Me and Adam both are YouTube TVers, you know, YouTube TV folks, and we're all considering, you know, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad we waited it out.
We legit had that conversation, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Where it's like, dude,
I can't see my life without YouTube TV.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's so convenient. I can watch it anywhere. You know?
It's
so.
The nice thing, when I was in Indianapolis, I had it on my laptop, and it was like, oh, it seems like you're out of town. It's like, yeah, but I'll be back, you know? And it's like, here's a week. You can watch it here as long as you're not gone for more than a week. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Here's all my TV, you know? Here's all my Philly stations. It's fucking great.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
So I'm very excited for that. But I'm also very excited, sir.
Here's me thinking about getting all my Disney channels back. This is a visual medium, by the way. So go to our, you know, Patreon and sign up and watch us. Just for watch me do this.
It's true, man.
In other words, I'm very aroused.
Whoa, my penis can only get so erect. Yes, I was thinking.
I only have so much skin.
There's totally so much blood to go around. I was thinking, because we watched the 6 ABC, I've watched the 6 ABC Dunkin' Donuts Thanksgiving Day Parade for Matt from Dover can confirm this. That was the one that was always on in our house growing up.
Same.
We were bugging here because that's the kids, you know, all the kids in the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. They like watching it as well. And they were like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. We're going to have to pirate or something. And now, thankfully, they've reached an agreement and everything is back. So all is well. The national nightmare is over. Oh, Mass Sanity has something here as well I want to read.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
One more here. Thank you. Sorry. I have breaking news not posted anywhere else just yet. There will be an AEW book signing at Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey on Friday, November 21st. Tony Khan is expected to be one of the guest. Details to come. Thank you for sharing that, sir. I will do my best to be there as well, because I will be attending as press AEW Full Gear on Saturday evening.
As full. No, I'm just kidding. You ever see that Three Stooges episode where they're trying to get to a football game?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of buttons for an elevator says press, and then rip it off. So they go press, and Curly has the button that says pull, and then press, pull.
I love it, man. One other thing I wanted to mention too, that I love, and I had it.
Long horseback rides through the country.
Long walks on the beach, obviously Scrapple, Baby Roots,
detachable shower heads.
Oh yeah, listen, those are the best. They really get in there and they get in the good grooves. It's like a bidet for you in the shower, and then you can use your feet and stomp it down. I remember now. I know what it is.
What's that?
Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag #AskMeanie. You may hear them on the program, sir. What you sipping on today?
Not quite. Seltzer? Well, it's not seltzer, but a drink that has won my heart. As a child growing up, I'm a big ginger ale mark. Loyal to Canada Dry through and through. This just came out, and my goodness, it is it's like a sexy ginger ale, and it is Canada Dry Bold.
Ooh,
brother,
I gotta try that. That looks fucking phenomenal.
It's a little pricey.
That's worth it.
But yeah, worth it. I'm a Canada Dry mark through and through.
Yeah.
Going back to my childhood, nothing better than a sick day of chicken noodle soup, Price is Right, and
Yeah.
And the dried ginger ale, from my
Yeah.
grandma's collection,
I was just gonna
But-
say, man.
Yeah.
Whew. Good shit, dude. I have to give it a
What
shot.
you got?
I have the cheap shit from Aldi again here, the Sparkling Frost Classic Lemonade, which I try to save at least this or the pink grapefruit for our show each week. So let's crack these suckers. Enjoy what you're drinking this Friday night with us here at 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
That citrusy deliciousness. Cheers, beers, good sir.
Pinkies up.
Piggies up. Oh, yeah. Seriously, Pod Squad, let me know if you guys want to hear that stuff. If you want to hear the best of Foundation Radio from WCUR, happy to post it. And there will be a bounty for anyone that can find the Brent Porsche audio of Meanie the other day. I promise we'll send you something. We'll send you something nice because I really want to check. I really want to hear it. Mass Sanity with the first question here. What's your favorite Eddie Guerrero memory? And did you ever have a chance to work with him?
I'll go backwards first. I shared a locker room with him in WWE when I went back in 2005. Never got to share a ring with him, unfortunately. But I mean, and I was just talking about this the other day. I was doing my when I was on MMR, I picked songs, and I had picked songs that had certain memories to them. And this one just happened to. This is like sheer coincidence. I started off my my block of songs with "Animal" by Pearl Jam, and it wasn't until that day I realized it was the 20th anniversary of the loss of Eddie Guerrero. So going MMR, they're like, why'd you pick the song? I was like, well, today, it's the unfortunate passing of Eddie Guerrero. This was his ECW arena. This is the song he used in ECW. Eddie Guerrero used to come out the Animal by Pearl Jam. And just to see him in the ECW arena, before, he was going to go into national, providence there, or prominence, I should say, was special to see, him in that building, and that was the case for a lot of guys, coming through, Jericho before he went to WCW, all these guys came in, and then, they would get poached to either WCW or WWF. Eddie Guerrero, the Guerrero Malenko Classic.
Oh man,
fantastic. But he was a sweetheart of a guy, man. Very, very polite. Just humble, down to earth. I don't have any personal interaction with him other than sharing a locker room with him a couple times. But one of the best, man, and gone way too soon.
Jesse Brown says, with John Cena's last match just a few weeks away, which I can't freaking believe, dude. Can you believe we're almost in December?
It's crazy.
We're almost through another year.
Dude, it was just like yesterday was, June.
Yeah.
I say it all the time, March, January 2nd through March are like the doldrums.
Yeah.
Then you get to April, baseball season, and things get better. It just seems like we were just getting out of that funk, that January 2nd to March funk that I go through. And now we are 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving.
It's crazy, dude.
Insane that the time has, somebody hit the fast forward button on life. Crazy.
Man, it's been quite a year. Very excited to do our look back at 2025, and obviously, as you know, there will be we may throw in a couple of full Ask Meanie Anything shows in there, just with a bunch of stuff that Meanie and I have coming up this at the end of the year. But we will let you know as we get to that point. But the question here is, with Cena's match just a few weeks away, his last match rather a few weeks away, I think that he'll go out doing the honors. But should he?
Well, now he's Intercontinental Champion. His last match might be dropping Intercontinental belt. That was a nice little surprise. I
sure was.
Yeah. Well, here's something funny. Monday night, he wins the Intercontinental Championship, and then while I'm in Green Bay, they play Cena's song in the stadium. So
No shit.
when we found out, me and Miss Mir, like, was somebody at the stadium watching Raw while they were
Must
running the board?
Must have been. Must have
seriously,
been.
they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They're playing wrestling music. And then you find out you find out later on he won the Intercontinental Championship. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, somebody was playing hooky and watching some wrestling while they were doing the game as well.
I'll tell you what, man. There's a
But yeah, I could see him doing the JOB on the way out.
yeah. Seems like the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I got a little misty-eyed watching him win that Intercontinental Championship.
I need to go back and catch. There's a lot of things I could catch up on, and mustard from when I was away on my trip. That I need to go back and watch.
It was a fantastic match, and shout out to Dominic Mysterio. I mean, that fucking guy. Let me tell you something about Dominic Mysterio. Not that anybody asked, but let me tell you something about Dominic Mysterio. That guy's going to be a fucking over babyface in the next year and a half, 2 years tops. That guy has it all. Every bit of anything that you would want as a professional wrestler, as an entertainer, as a sports entertainer, he's got it.
So, and I just had this thought. Have they announced who's in the tournament yet?
They have. It's actually, there is, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Because my next opinion might vary on who's involved.
Let's take a look at the full match here, the bracket. Yeah, let's see here. This is just a bracket. So far, and tonight, Los Angeles night, friend of the show, is facing someone unknown at this time. And then next week, Solo Sikoa is doing the same thing. So as of now, Damian Priest, Rusev, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Miz, Gentleman Jey Uso, Los Angeles night, Javon Evans, Gunther, and Solo Sikoa. So the first round matches already have occurred. And then I believe tonight is The Miz and Jey Uso, and then LA Knight versus the mystery opponent. But Rusev and Sheamus have advanced to the quarterfinal round.
So I was thinking, there's a couple unknowns. What if, Dominic gets into the tournament, wins and wins his Intercontinental Championship back in the final match?
That is entirely possible that could happen. It's entirely possible.
I see people like, oh, that match that they had for the Intercontinental belt, that should have been the final match. But what if it leads to Dominic getting into the tournament and then reclaiming his Intercontinental Championship, being the last opponent of John Cena and further cementing his legacy?
Yeah, I would like to see that. I know that the winner of the Jey Uso and Miz match, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but that has just occurred as I was on the old Twitter machine. Here's a good question for you. What if the Blue Meanie is one of the mystery opponents? We know he won't tell us if he is.
Yeah.
Are we actually live tonight, or are we in a recording?
Mass Sanity has been one of my victims of kayfabe, where he'll text me or message me. I'm like, oh, I'm at this show. And, I'll be like, oh, cool. Enjoy. And then, 10 minutes later, I'm coming through the curtain, just I have so many friends go, son of a bitch.
Dude,
I was just texting with him.
The Ring of Honor AEW shows from a couple months ago. I was like, hey, Meanie, I'm going to be in Philly a lot. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, have a good time. I won't be there. I got so-and-so going on, or Mrs. Meanie and I are going over here. We'll have to catch up later. Yeah, man, no problem. Great. Looking forward to it. 20 minutes later. That's the fucking Blue Meanie right there, isn't it? God, Daddy, no, sell me. Why? But you know what? Like I keep saying, man, I prefer that sell me. I do. Because it's a surprise. Not just because you're my friend, not just because you're my podcast partner. It's just fun to be surprised. It's fun to know that I don't know that you're there, right?
And for all those people who go kayfabe's dead, I go, bullshit.
Let me tell you something. The blue guy is the fucking master of kayfabe here, all right? So, David from Quakertown wants to know, I saw you visited Chris Farley's childhood home. What's your favorite Chris Farley Saturday Night Live skit?
Oh, my God. Right off the top of my head. They, back in the 80s, 90s, they used to do these coffee commercials.
Oh my God, yeah.
we secretly replaced his favorite brand with such and such.
With coffee crystals. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it again?
It's the coffee crystals.
Yeah. And the person goes, that is delicious. I would never expected that, in the commercials. So they do that they do they do that with the skit with Chris Farley, like, we secretly replaced his usual brand. And they show the guy telling him, that isn't your usual coffee, that's such and such. And like the scary music comes over, he looks at his coffee, looks up and goes, you son of a bitch. And just completely ape shit that they switched his coffee out.
Yeah.
And like he's like taking people out, and people running in from the chef comes in from the kitchen, starts whacking them in the head with a frying pan, and it's just absolutely.
As God is my witness, I will burn this place to the ground. He's like screaming and shit, dude. So good, man.
Absolutely. That's number one. That's number one. Nobody talks about it, but because everybody likes the Chippendales one, but
right.
I love that commercial because I love that skit because I remember those commercials, and it just it's a twist on something so simple, that something that used to be on TV all the time. And then there's the twist of what if somebody actually got pissed that they switched out their coffee with the coffee crystals,
There are so many and just amazing Chris Farley skits from the time on SNL. I'm trying to think of like my favorite. I'm just a huge Chris Farley mark, always have been.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of like obviously like Matt Foley is always great, but then there's like the random ones that just show up. There's the skit where he's dressed up as the old Italian woman reading the menu, and he's like, ravioli, holy cannoli, and he rubs Adam Sandler's leg, and you can see Sandler just like popping, like he's just like he can't hold. Day and night she talks, more and more words, more useless than the next. That like there was something inside of me that just died watching that, laughing. But,
there was one where they're doing a award show skit, and it's like a music awards, and they go Wilson Phillips, and
Wilson Phillips. So hold on,
he's in the crowd as Carney Wilson.
Or then when he's like, these fries are disgusting. And David Spade's like, I thought you were gonna die. He's like, lay off me, I'm starving.
And my honorable mention for Mrs. Meanie when Blind Melon was on Saturday Night Live. He dressed up as the bee girl.
Bumblebee. That's right. Yeah. Yes, I forgot about that.
Mrs. Meanie loves bumblebees, and we both love Blind Melon. And the fact that he dressed up as the bee girl during the introduction on Saturday Night Live, that's a staple in the Meanie household as well.
One of my favorite all-time skits, though, because I don't think I could pick one. There was a DVD of the best of Chris Farley that used to be out for a long time. I don't have it anymore. I got to find it, but it had all of my favorites on it, right? But there's one in particular that I just saw again recently, and it's Mike Myers as a Japanese game show host, right? And it's Alec Baldwin, and it's Janine Garofalo and Chris Farley, and everybody else is like playing the Japanese part. And apparently, from what I've read, Mike Myers' Japanese in that skit is almost completely legitimate. Like there's a couple things that are like gibberish words, for the most part, everything he's saying in that skit is all real Japanese, right?
Amazing.
And so they're going through and they're talking, and at the right as they get to him, and he's like, Rory Templeton, and he looks at him and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese, right? And the whole skit is just him trying to win this game show. And after every time somebody gets something wrong, they like slice their hands with a knife or they cut their fingers off. And he's like, good Lord, he's like trying to answer these questions. And there's a part in the skit. So apparently Farley was notorious for trying to make Sandler laugh. Like that was his shtick, was to try to make it, at the very least, Adam Sandler laugh while he was on stage, while they were performing. And so as they're getting ready to write the answers on the cue cards, Chris Farley takes the lid off of the Sharpie and goes, and he smells it. And if you listen in the background during that spot when the crowd's laughing, you can hear Adam Sandler like pissing himself with laughter, because that was the one thing he would do, is like try to catch him, right? But God, dudes, oh my God, that, and at the end he gets electrocuted, like just Man, that shit is so good. If you've never seen it, go out of your way to check it out.
Absolutely.
But we got what time for one more question here.
Sure.
Ask me, let me see. Jesse Brown says, after traveling to Green Bay, how many other stadiums have you been to away games at?
Yeah, me and Mrs. Meanie were trying to do a tally of how many. So I guess our first away game was Eagles Rams, the game where Carson Wentz got injured. They won the NFC East, and then the following year we went and seen the Eagles at in Wembley Stadium against the Jaguars. And then hold on,
Attaboy.
Seltzer kiss, even though it's ginger ale. We saw Eagles Jaguars in Wembley in 18. 19, we went up to Giant Stadium and watched the Eagles win the NFC East again. And then right before the shutdown, we went up to Buffalo. Might have been the following year we went to Buffalo because we spent 2 years in a row. We celebrated Halloween in a different country. 18, we were in England for Halloween, and then for the Eagles Buffalo game, we went up to. I have a friend, Chris Tidwell, who's a wrestler. He lives in Toronto. He's a big Eagles fan. So I was like, hey, if we're going to go to let's go to the Buffalo game. Then we'll drive up to Toronto, hang out with Tidwell for a couple days, and then we'll all go down to the Eagles game, and then we can go home from there. So Buffalo. So right there is one. LA, Wembley, New York, Buffalo, and then I know I'm missing one. And then Green Bay. There's one more. I was trying to stall to think of the other one, but at least 5 so far.
Well, we want to thank you all for sending your questions in each and every week. Don't forget to use the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the show. But good sir, it's that time of evening, sir. Where can everybody keep up to date with all things blue when they're not listening to the program?
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Blue Meanie BWO. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Madcatbeardcare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil or Balm. There is no wrong choices there. Josh Thornton is doing an amazing job rounding up the cats, taking them to the vet, and releasing them back in your wild. Releasing them back into the wild. Every cent you spend at Madcare Beard Care goes directly to take care of the cats. So, the Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters created by the amazing Hal Haney, but many real wrestlers, including many others I'm trying not to spoil. So go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com, or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. The figure collections Bone Crushing Wrestlers variants. Start that one over again. The figure collections Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1 variants of the Blue Meanie are available now. All Series 1s can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type the Blue Meanie in the search bar, and you can pick regular Blue Meanie or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there's no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. Register your podcast, book the Blue Guy, and let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Book through the site, not through the app. The app takes too much of your hard-earned money. I did one a week ago, and it's cool to see the 5-star reviews coming in. And so let's make somebody's day a little bit brighter over there at cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. But most importantly, Mr. Barnard, where can we find you, sir?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You can find me on all forms of social media, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok. It's at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. So go and check me out there. And like I said, don't forget to check out my work at the Sportster. I want you to go and follow us on Twitter right now at Sportster News, and go and follow us on Instagram at the Sportster. We got lots of great stuff coming up for you. Again, my conversation with AEW's Wheeler Yuta is releasing this Monday. After you listen to this, go over and check it out on that site at 12 noon Eastern. And also, too, if you go to the Foundation Radio podcast feed, the RSS feed, all of my conversations for the Sportster are on there as well, and they drop at the same time. I'm also going to go back into the archive from some of the work I did while I was over at Screen Rant. I'm going to drop some of my conversations that haven't even been heard yet, that were not used on the site, including conversations from WrestleMania with Ricky Saints, Stephanie Vicaire, Dakota Kai, my conversations with Damian Priest, and Bret the Hitman Hart. I'm going to drop them all before the end of the year, and I hope you enjoy it. So go ahead and follow me over there at Foundation Radio for that audio as well. Shout out to the homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop, downtown Lawrenceville, on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go ahead and schedule your appointment today with Kane Jordan and the rest of the team at 10thwardbarbershop.com. Got to give a shout out to the homie Alex Miller over at Alex Miller Tattoo over at Local Color Inc. in downtown Westchester. Let me show you the camera here. I'm going to pull this down here. My brand new tattoo, my Turbo Po.
Nice.
And committed my homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop, my home away from home down there. Let's go and follow Alex Miller at Alex Miller Tattoo. Go and see him. He's absolutely wonderful. Did a fantastic job on my arm here. ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at the Casa de Meanie and the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. Don't forget to go to Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Tiers start at just $10 a month. You can watch us record each and every week with our beautiful faces on the screen for you, good sir, everyone. And above Meanie's head, if you look right above him there, Jesus, every single week. You know, Carl, you're supposed to be fixing this for us. You're the handyman here. I don't want to hear any excuses. I want that shit stapled right to the screen. If you go to youtube.com/@Mind of the Meanie, you can go here back all the way to hear our archive, all the way back to the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2021. And we want to thank you for listening. You've stuck with us all this time. We appreciate you. We appreciate having you here on the program. We could not do this show without you, so we thank you. And Meanie, thank you for doing the show again this week.
Thank you, sir.
For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
That was Blue Meanie's brain out.